Okay. The subject is recurring billing. And there's two recurring billing modules. One, under the billing menu, you have one which is called auto billing, and those are for your maintenance contract type recurring billings where there are costs associated with that contract, i.e. you have a contract, it bills quarterly, annual, semi, whatever that is, and then you have service tickets that take hits against that contract. Am I saying the right words?
That's correct.
Okay.
Explain that one.
You don't sell maintenance contracts when you collect $20 a month and you do anything for that customer. So if I send a tech out there, the labor gets charged to it, then at the end of the year you say, okay, we're making money on this, or no, we need to raise the maintenance contract.
Exactly correct. And leases are the same way. You're leasing equipment for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
There are service tickets against that lease. Some are billable, some are not billable, depends on the service call itself.
Anything that has a cost except for monitoring, or what else did we say didn't have a cost? My rents, when I build the rents, when I do something that I don't want to track. Yeah.
So the other one down here is the recurring billing module. I call this the high volume one because it's like monitoring fees or web services or other services that do not have a technician's time posted against those charges. There is, of course, some underlying costs like the monitoring fee. Your monitoring company's going to be charging you $6 or something like that.
We're not tracking it to that.
We're not tracking it to that contract. We know what those are fixed costs, and we're just so. So let's talk about, for this discussion, the auto billing module first. The auto billing module has a preview mode, so you can see what the recurring contracts are going to be for this month. So it's your way to view and verify the list. Yes, that's correct. Oh, wait a minute, we missed one, or they're off contract now. So I would set my effective date to be August 1. It's always the first of the month. No matter what day you're actually doing the work, it's always, all the contracts are put in for the first of the month. And then you hit the start button and it goes and churns through and it presents you with a list of all the contracts that are going to be due for this month. Now this is taken into account if it's 12, the frequency 12, it's going to be every month. If it's quarterly, when the quarters hit, they're going to be on this month. Semi-annual, annual, if they happen to fit on this month, this list here is that list. Okay? And you see we've got one that's a monthly, a couple of monthlies, we've got a couple of quarterlies. They happen to land on August 1. If I'm doing it for the next month, if we do it for September 1, for example, like this, the ones that were 12s are going to appear, but the quarterlies would be a different date range based on the date of the month of the anniversary date, is what I call it. Okay? Now, you also have here a list of all your contracts, irrespective of the month they fall on.
All contracts.
All contracts.
It doesn't matter if it's monthly, quarterly, annually.
Right. So in my system, if I say produce that particular report like so, click, now it's going to show me all my contracts irrespective of the month it falls. It's going to have the month it falls on, but it's going to not care in this particular report. Okay. Some are quarterly, some are single annually, semis at the bottom, exactly correct. So we handle all the frequencies that you can imagine. And notice there's a couple, anything that's not on the first of the month is actually an error and it will be skipped. So you need to make sure that there's none. It's I'm not sure how that was even created. It's not like it lets you create it. It puts it on the first of the month by default unless you change it. And changing it would be wrong. So you always want to put these at the first. You can enter an expiration date, but the system does not turn off billing. You have to take them out of the contract system altogether. It will continue billing even if if they've gone off contract. Okay. Even if there's an expire date. So there's a way you would change the status of this recurring billing to dead projects. Remove them from the list.
We used to have 100 different types, saying if it was a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract, or whatever the case may be. So this is where we'll put a expiration date, so we know, okay, they fulfilled their first contract,
right,
but it's still going to bill, and we're not going to lose them, hopefully. Like
yeah,
before.
Keeps them going up. Now, you'll notice that some have an hours component to them. The hours component is about the inspection, how long the inspection takes. If there's an inspection, if it's a single inspection, it's the hours for the single inspection. If they get 2 inspections a year, it's still the hours for the single inspection. The intention of this is to help the service guys know how long the inspection is going to take. I mean, if it's hours, it's not a big deal, but I've got customers that take weeks. So they need to know this is a, 2-week, it's an 80-hour inspection, or it's, you got that thing, okay.
And you pre-program that in there?
Yeah, there's a field for that. You actually say the inspection time. So that's when there is an inspection. Some of these don't necessarily have to have an inspection component to them to be in the system, but it can support both. The next report that I really like is this guy right here, list all by month. And this report actually gives you a graphical representation of the billing. So you can see when your peaks and valleys are, and you may decide to move things around a little bit based on this frequency, so you can balance the money out, if you will. But I like this a lot because it tells me my strong months, my weak months. Yeah, so that's a nice report, and it actually breaks it down by month, which companies are going to fall. And if it's a quarterly, it's broken up in 4 times. It does all the extrapolations based on the frequency. So I like this report, and then it gives you a report down here. And these are all printable, of course, and it gives you the, you can print it out for you, that thing. So it's a really nice report. Now, so so we took a look. If we put this back to be our August 1, which was back a month right here, and we did a look-see right here, we can look at this list and say, yep, that's what I'm expecting, okay? And then when I'm happy with the list, I literally come down to this one down here, and I say create invoices, and it then spawns off, in this case, 4 or 5 invoices, whatever that frequency was, okay? And it puts it in the print-reprint system. So they end up as a batch print set of invoices that can be then printed off, okay? And you would normally be keeping this clean, so that would be all the invoices that are queued up, okay?
Once you print them, it goes away from this report?
Once you say, from this screen here, you mean? They're going to be Ys, and they're going to end up at the bottom of the list here, because they'll be down there. So how do
we clean that list up?
Just hit print all, and say go, and it prints them all off. Okay. You say to print all these unprinted, you just say print all unprinted and hit the print button, and then it goes and kicks them all off.
A delete log, so that
yeah.
would clear out all the ones that had been printed.
No, if I print these, they end up down here at the bottom of the list with Ys. They don't ever go away. So you can always reprint an invoice anytime you want. The delete is if the invoice is one where you created an invoice and it's wrong.
Okay.
You blew it, they charged too much money, I didn't want to bill it in the first place, so the delete is just remove the invoice altogether and back the project up into you reverse the project back to an uninvoiced state.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
that thing.
When you do that, do I need to be notified to remove it then from QuickBooks?
Exactly correct. If you do that, and if I say delete to one of these guys, and I don't have a problem doing this, if I say delete like so, it says, well, first of all, it's telling you to move the status of the project. It's in the delete. It's the first change the status deed to an open project. So it's telling you you have to open the project back up because it right now is in completed status. So I would have to go open that project up. Let me see if I do this one. Right, good. Oh, that's the same thing. I'm just trying to find whether it doesn't have to change the status. Okay, good. So it lets you confirm the delete, like so, and then make sure you delete the invoice in your accounting system. Okay? So if you're going to delete it, you want to remove it from QuickBooks as well. Okay? Okay, so now I'm not going to actually, right now, I'm not going to generate these invoices right now. What I want to do is start one for you first and show you how you set up the recurring contract. And then we'll make the anniversary month this month, and then we'll generate the invoices for that. So, again, we're doing the auto billing, maintenance contract type auto billing, where there's cost associated with that contract. Okay. So there's a couple ways you can start a maintenance contract. You can start it from the new project screen, which I have been showing you. Okay. But you can also go to the customer list and go find, for example, Fairfax Hospital like so, and you can come over here to, open service ticket, open project, completed projects like so, and on these tabs over here, you have new project as well. So you could start a service ticket from here. I mean, you look over, part of the reason why this here is you can look to see, do I have a service ticket for the job I'm about to give already? So that's a nice way to find out if there's already a service ticket created for that customer for the problem involved. And you've got the date it was created, so you can say, oh yeah, that's the one we're working on right now. Okay. But this screen right here, it happens, and you have it on open projects and completed projects and recurring contracts. There's a new project screen sitting right there, and I can say new project, and there's a couple options. You can say service related to that project, be it that one right there, which would be how you attach a service ticket to the contract. Did that translate?
That would be how you create a service ticket
against
a care plan.
Exactly correct. And there's your care plans right there. So
it'll be more clear once it's in our
in your language. Exactly. But so maintenance contract. So if I were to start a service ticket right now, I would so start from beginning. I go find Fairfax Hospital. I click on recurring contracts. I see I've got a maintenance contract with that guy, and I hit new project, and I say service related to the contract. And then there's a report that you can run of all the hits against this contract. There's several reports you can run. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a new contract. So new, not related to contract, which means I'm going to create a new contract. Now, it brings you to the same place we've already been to many times. In this case, instead of selecting the sales or the service, we're going to select our maintenance contracts. Okay? And I'm going to hit maintenance contract. That should be fine. I was just thinking, okay. And we hit next, and we come over here, and then we have a ship address functionality, what we've talked about before.
That's where all the different sites would be.
Yep, exactly. And then you'll notice Okay, this didn't do what I was expecting. Let me just pause it here. I want to make sure my setup right. Do it again. New project. Actually, we can do it from we did it from the customer list. So I was showing you the customer list. So Fairfax Hospital, like so. And we went to recurring contract. They don't have a contract for the one we're about to add. We say new contract, not related to any existing contract. We choose our Care First plan, our care plan contracts status, and we put it in our recurring billing contract. Now mine is, in my system, it's repeat contracts, exactly correct. And then this is where we give it the name, maintenance contract, or whatever we're going to call it.
That will print on the invoice.
That will print on the invoice, correct. Okay. Now, you're welcome to change any other information about this, but this is all you have to do. When you press Make Project, a new screen pops up, and this is where you declare the frequency. Okay. And then you also declare the anniversary date, and you notice it is the first of the month, whereas this was going to be on the 3rd. It knew to make it the first of the month. Okay. Now, do you put this in for next month or the month that just passed? What is your world?
Bill in advance, so.
For next month, you'll put it for September then.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll click on this guy over here, and you click on September 1, and now it's a September 1 event. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in our August one because I want to demonstrate our August billing.
Okay.
And now, one of the customers had this requirement. They have an actual plan type, and nothing that you've talked about to date requires that functionality. But what it did do for them was it automatically did free parts or free labor or free everything on the billing side. So
We do.
Yeah,
the total care one?
We have two different care plans, total care, that everything's 100% covered,
Okay.
and preventive care, where only your inspection is covered.
So maybe we could do.
We could set those plans up. Okay.
Maybe we could do Plan P and Plan T.
Yeah, whatever those are. I mean, if this is a setup.
Total care plan, preventive care.
Where'd my pen go?
If it all fits.
Oh, I got here. It is. Just hit itself. So plan types.
I like that.
Very good.
So what happens there is if you have the
Very good.
if you have the plan type set up, it will automatically look into the plan associated with this contract for the service call itself,
Right. Yeah.
and it will set the pricing. It'll zero out the sell side of what's covered and leave what's not covered as billable. You will then create the invoice, which could be either a $0 invoice or a money dollar invoice based on what's still billable that's left. Exactly correct. Okay.
That's smart.
Yeah, well, I've got some big,
Because there were two different types, is that?
yeah, I've got big customers that, I mean, this is driven by the customers, so, by customers, so,
It seems like you've thought of everything.
well,
It will eliminate calls for her.
my customers have thought about everything,
Yeah, 'cause
so,
that is very frustrating.
Yeah.
That's why we don't do them. They're like, oh, what?
oh boy.
We
So,
should have that down, yeah.
so this is the recurring billing side of the contract. And you see right below it, you see the inspection part of it. So if there's an inspection component to this, you can say there's one inspection or two inspections per year, and then the anniversary date of that inspection. Now, most customers, if they're billing for August, they make the inspection the following month, so they know the collection's already happened. Theoretically, we've got our money before we do the inspection. So you might set this to be September, like so, and we make this a September 1 inspection, and oh, by the way, there's 2 of them per year. And there's where a single inspection hour comes into play, and it's a 4-hour inspection. So the guy knows he can send out one technician. If the panel can handle the other side of it, they can send one technician out, and the panel does the feedback thing. You know what I'm talking about? The fire world where the panel talks to you. So you can actually get away with one technician on the field, on the site. And then this is where you give it a description. There's a setup screen where you can say, you know, a fire inspection or something like that. Fire inspection. Something like that. Okay? So this field here is effectively seeding that field there when it goes to use it. That's what you're doing. So this was a maintenance contract, and then this was a fire inspection or alarm inspection or panel inspection, whatever you want to put there. Okay. And then you can put little notes. This notify is in the fire world. You have to notify the fire marshal you're doing an inspection. You have to notify administration. So you put little letters in to remind yourself about who you're calling before you do the inspection. So it may not apply to you, but I've got guys where it very much applies. And then you're done. You hit done to this guy here, and then it takes you to the last screen of the new project screen where we're going to go into the editor now. And now we're in the editor, and you see we have a frequency of 1 bill per year. Okay, that wasn't there before on normal jobs, but it becomes available on a recurring inspection. Now in here, you can simply put, if you have a part number that's maintenance contract, like SMS maintenance contract, you can put that in here. So P, Dove, in my case it's a Dove F2. I don't think I have, well, billing item would be an example of one, but do I have a maintenance contract? Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Maintenance contract, like that. Come over here to this guy, and then we would say, you know, the cost is 0, because you don't have a cost on this side. You have a selling side, and then this would be, you know, $2,500 annually, or $250 monthly, or whatever that number is that you're saying. So you put the billable amount for this bill. If the frequency is 12, then it's going to be 12 times 2,500, or 12 times 250, or 12 times, or 4 times, or 3 times. So the amount in the project is the single bill amount.
Can you show us an example with like a quarterly?
Well,
Or
it would
has
simply,
back out?
no, it can go to setup. You can change, just go to setup. Sorry, you can go to heading section, and then go to contract setup and set the frequency to be 4, like so. And now the frequency is 4, so there's going to be 4 bills times $2,500. Make sense? Yes?
So that's,
Now, if you want to put other things in this, you know,
Notes for the customer to know what they're paying.
exactly.
That's what all of our invoice formats were.
Yeah.
Are a nightmare.
Right. If you
And
want
we
to,
can individualize it for
exactly.
that customer.
Yeah. For this thing, it's paying for services, it's doing that, it's blah, blah, woof, woof, what equipment we're covering, whatever you want to put in this contract, they can be simply A lines, dot, 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 dot. They're just comment lines that you can put whatever they're covering.
the same invoice every single invoice.
Exactly correct.
And you did say that regardless of the frequency of the billing, you still put the total amount at the top of there.
No.
That bill only.
The
for
bill,
that.
the bill only, the
Okay.
bill only.
You want to
Okay.
put their,
So it would, yeah. gotcha.
What the bill's going to be.
If it's
Right.
$1,000 per year, it's and it's quarterly, it's $250.
$250.
Okay, gotcha.
The bill per year.
Okay.
Okay. So anything you, like I said, anything you want to put in here, you can just put your language, your contract language, anything you want to say special about that, rate goes in right here.
And you could put a U in there and say that you don't want the customer to see.
Yeah.
Do not go into this part of the building or
Right.
whatever.
Right. You can put X lines in there too.
Yeah.
You can also do this under a memo line. So if you've got a memo line that has all your contract language already stored, you can look up, your contract language, double click it in, and then
that was going to be my next question.
so you can store your contract language down here to make it easy to repeat yourself. Okay? And then you're done. Okay? So now The key points to reiterate is we chose the recurring contract product code, the type of sale being maintenance contract, and it is in our status recurring contracts. Okay, so if a customer goes off contract, the simple thing to do is to change the status from the recurring contract, repeat contract, to dead projects. That's how you turn a contract off. You no longer want them to be billed, you change the project to dead projects. It's simple as that.
Does it include a day when you make it the dead project?
It does record the date if you want to put notes in the project further to that, but there is a status field, there's a date field that says when it was changed to that status.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to make the note, it may not be visible where you want to see it. I know I've got a date. List and status has it, but you may want to put it in the body of the project itself. Customer canceled contract on this date.
Just add an A line.
Add an A line to the thing. Exactly correct.
Okay.
So that's how you turn off a contract. Simply change the status of the job out of the status system, out of the recurring billing system. Okay? Now, with that said, if we hit the refresh button here, click, we have a new maintenance contract that we just created today. So that was created, this was created in 17, this was created, well, the anniversary date was set to be August 1, okay? And there's the contract that we just did for $2,500, okay? And they have plan type P or T or whatever you're gonna end up making, okay? Now that we set the contract up, we can come back to the recurring billing module. We set our date for the effective date we want to do it for. Now, you bill in advance, okay? So you can go ahead and set this to be the September date. Now, how far in advance do you bill? What's your normal thing?
About 15 days.
15 days out. So on the 15th of the month, you'll go ahead and forward this to be September 1, generate your list, and there's your bills you're going to generate for this month. Okay. So in my case, I'm going to do it for this month, like so, and I'll say this month, and I hit start, like so. And there we are, and we should see a $2,500 one right there, Fairfax Hospital for $2,500 sitting right there. Okay? And notice it extrapolated this out to the contract amount. So this figure here is your contract, the value of all your contracts extrapolated for you.
Nice.
Okay? And same with this report down here, this guy right there, this would be all your contracts, again, extrapolated out, and so I've got $125,000 worth of contracts.
Rose, you weren't here for that, were you? This list is every contract you have.
Perfect.
On the maintenance side, on the maintenance
Would you
side.
show her the graph one?
Yeah, and then the other one
Oh, I like that one.
Apparently we
is
like
this one down
It has
here.
colors.
It has colors, and it shows you where your contract high billings are going to be and low billings and so forth.
What months are good months?
Yeah, what months are good months, what months are bad months, and exactly how we look at it the same way. We all have. My wife says, "What's our value for our recurring contract next month, Tony?" And see, there's your one. Now it's actually going to be, it's on a monthly basis, so this is going to be, broken up by month.
I
Okay.
assume there's gonna be a similar report for monitoring.
Exactly correct. Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, you mean this one? Ah. The first report is there. I don't have the graphical one. I have to work on that. That's.
Like it's a graph.
Yeah.
Colors. I can see it easily.
You got a color printer?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead now. Now that we've looked at our month, we confirm, yes, these are the bills that we intend to generate. We're happy with the accounts. Do you do that today, or you just let it rip?
Oh, no, we match.
You do exactly what I'm doing. Okay, fine, good. So now we've got our list happy, so we come down here to create invoices, and we just hit start, and then we go to lunch, because this will proceed to generate invoices against all these contracts, like so, and it just literally generates all the invoices. Yeah. Now, these extra prompts here is because I don't have the commission type set, which would normally be set.
Now, Mary Beth, what are you gonna do with the rest of your day?
I'm just gonna sit back like this, and let it work.
Are you telling me that the memorized transaction thing is painful?
Yes, you have to go through every single one of them and create an individual invoice for
Well, what's the point of memorized transaction?
Yeah, you're telling me.
I thought this is just what I do.
No.
Ours
Ours
says
says
auto.
auto.
No.
Which
No.
one are you using? I don't know.
What?
I just know that I have to go through every single one of them. It takes me like 3 hours to create
What?
monitoring invoices. It's awful.
I've been not
And then
selling.
it has an individual. No, that's not true. I can put it all on email later and print later, and then print them all at once. But to
What?
create the invoice, I have to.
I thought they had that thing nailed.
Oh,
There
it's
may be
so
more
horrible.
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
In the office?
I close my door. I'm like, y'all just leave me alone. It's gonna take me a while.
Yeah, she
Sounds
wants
like
to
it's
have
not
fun.
But
enterprise.
It's not
Definitely not.
Remember, I inherited.
Right.
You know, I'm just working with.
It's
what I-
not the enterprise, it's a different version of.
Yours does auto spit them out, or you don't know?
I believe it automatically spits it out.
Okay, fine.
I would say so.
Because I haven't been selling my module to customers that have the auto billing module for that very reason. If they've got pain, then let's get rid of the pain.
Oh, please, get rid of me.
Okay, so now you'll notice there are all our invoices set up for ready to print.
Or email. Let's page everything. Yeah.
Now, if the customer has been set up to have email invoices, then this email button functions, and it will email the invoice instead of print the invoice.
Do you have a function that will fold the invoices?
That'd be great.
That also takes a really long time.
I just figured out what she's gonna do for the second half of your day. Now you can't do that.
Oh my goodness.
Let me ask you this, what about, the, auto withdrawal? I mean, does that have anything in there for that at all?
ACH.
ACH.
No, that would be through QuickBooks.
I
Yeah.
would feel more comfortable still having my hands on that.
Yeah.
Just for security.
We do it through our bank, and we have,
We do.
It saves on
templates set up,
Right.
and then we just, if it's monthly, or let's say it's quarterly, then we just say, don't bill this time. Don't bill,
Okay.
but it still stays there.
I just didn't know if it was a different program. I missed
It is a different program, it's through in the bank, is what we use.
Now, to print these guys, you'll just come over here to the all print all unprinted, print all unprinted, and then you hit this guy right here. Now, I purposely, with regular emails, with regular invoices, I have that little pop-up popping up so you can do the mailer, where you can put notes and stuff into the. But with the recurring billing module, and you say print all, it actually comes up to a little prompt. Do you want that prompt to come up? And this you'll say, no, I don't want the prompt to come up. Just proceed to send them out without the individual pop-up hitting your face. I did that for me because I was, I only email invoice my invoices, and I was getting, and try imagine doing that when you're in your car driving. Then you got the slowness happening. I actually did my recurring billing once from my car. My wife was driving, but I had to sit there, and I said, I got to get rid of that. So I programmed that in for me. So you'll say no to this guy, and then it proceeds to start printing all your invoices out and emailing your customers accordingly. And then it just works through it, click, 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 and it just goes crazy. Now, if it's a printed, then your printer's going to kick off as well.
No special paper.
No special paper.
Which we need to talk about it when we
Back
the
on
printer. And how heavy duty of a color printer do we need? Ooh.
Well, you're saving on invoice paper. So you'll send my invoices now as well?
Yeah.
Now, of course, my email's going crazy for the email invoices. And when I get back home, and when I plug my machine into my printer, it's going to kick all these, all my printer log is.
So your printer's letting it say clear,
Yeah.
delete print job.
Oh, well, I'll sit there and hit the cancel.
Oh, delete.
Yes, ma'am.
You could even do that now.
Notice it doesn't have the printer queue button is not here. I have to go find the printer, but this is nothing.
Yeah.
It's not sitting there queued up. Okay, so,
So that's the one billing.
that's the one billing. Now, notice all the yeses here, they're all the yeses now, because all those invoices that we just cleared off are all down here in the printed queue, okay? The one more thing I want to talk about is on the preventative maintenance side. If there is, in fact, and then part of this is that system, if you have inspections, you would come down here to inspections, and the same thing applies. I want to see all my inspections for this month. I hit the start button. It gives us a list of all the preventative maintenance visits we have. Okay? And then you come down here, list all my preventative maintenance, list the money associated with the preventative maintenance, and then create the preventative maintenance, just like we did invoices when you hit start, and it spawns off X number of service tickets. Now in my system, they're going to a separate status, be it the inspections to do. So if I click over there, there's 2 inspections that just got created. And then you would send them out to the technicians through the work order system. They capture their time, it posts back to the job, and it's very smart in that when you post the time to the service ticket, it actually records the time back to the project, to the contract. So now you can see the load of hours against your contract. Okay?
So know if we're making money or losing money.
Or losing money or not making money.
I have a question.
Go.
If Alicia is there running the recurring billing, and Rosemary is doing a regular invoice to a customer, or a service billing invoice, and when you hit print invoices, is it going to throw Rosemary's invoice?
It will print invoices unless you select. There's a option that's not visible here, where you can. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. I think there's an option I can turn on that says only show my invoices, I think. But are your regular invoices just going to auto print, as in kick out right away?
No, not necessarily, but I'm saying she's there working on it.
I understand, but are we going to turn on auto print so they just print it right away when you finish it?
Once they're approved and.
Yeah, when you approve them.
I didn't think about auto printing it.
You could just auto print right away, and that the ones that are regular invoices would just kick out onto the printer immediately, whereas the auto billing would go into the queue system.
Okay.
So that would be the classic answer to that, is let's just let the regular bills that have already been approved, so we're not like going to be deleting those invoices. They've already gone through DOM and whatever, and they're the final invoice that's been approved, so they should just kick out.
Okay.
That's the answer to that question.
Okay.
So it's simple. Otherwise, you're right. It would be, they'd be mixed, but no, just auto print. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop this tape, and this will be then